We all ready? Rolling?
Yes, sir.
All right, first things first, I want to thank everybody for showing. I've got NSD Surfer, we've got the News Journal, Channel 9, Channel 6, everybody's here. Thank you very much for showing up. There's a little background on this issue. On or about July 11, 2016, the Volusia County Republican Executive Committee met in a special session, and the purpose of this meeting was to, by member vote, determine which 2016 candidates would appear on the Republican Voters Guide. And this is distributed by the Volusia County Republican Executive Committee prior to the 2016 election, in primary on August 30th and the November election. There are 4 current candidates for the elected position of Volusia County Chair who are qualified for the ballot placement. The incumbent, Volusia County Chair David Davis, the current Ormond Beach Mayor, Ed Kelly, the Orange City Mayor, Tom Cook, and Dayton Beach resident, Greg Gimber. After a vote of the members of the Executive Committee, no candidate received a supermajority vote as required for endorsement by the Executive Committee, and preferential placement or recommendation on the Republican Voter Guide was to be distributed to the voters. And the allegations that have been submitted to is on or about July 11, 2016, Mr. Ledbetter began to conspire with his personal preferred candidates, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Deering, and Ms. Ford, to ascertain that they would be presented to Republican voters as the Volusia County Republican Executive Committee selected candidate when they were not. They were placed, they are the personal choices of Mr. Ledbetter and his accomplices in this non-partisan election. This is a broad attempt by Mr. Ledbetter and his personal preferred candidates, Ed Kelly, Paul Deering, and Marilyn Ford, to deceive the voters of Volusia County and violate Title 9, Chapter 104 of the Florida State Statute, Section .061. And that is the corrupting, influencing, and voting. The political disclaimer on the bottom of the voter guide states, paid for by Republican Executive Committee of Volusia County and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Although the voter guide was paid for and produced by the committee, there was knowledge and agreement with Mr. Ledbetter, the principal offender, by the above-mentioned candidates, and their names would be prominent. In this case, highlighted attached on the voter guide, further violating Title 9, Chapter 104.091. Ladies and gentlemen, on this date, I, Jason Davis, have submitted to the state's attorney of the state of Florida and to the Federal Bureau of Investigation these allegations to be investigated upon. These are they're both felony offenses on the second degree, and they can be imprisonable if so desired by the prosecutor. So, Mr. Ledbetter and the committee and the above-mentioned candidates and the volunteers conspired to deceive the electors of Volusia County that the aforementioned candidates were the choice of the total committee when they were not. And Mr. Ledbetter continues to independently pursue the election of 2 of the above candidates through email. So, that is what has been filed today with the state attorney and also been filed with the FBI. The filing with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement is en route through the mail, and the Florida Department of Election is en route through the mail. The only resolution that I can actually see today, I personally am calling for the resignation of Mr. Tony Ledbetter as the Republican Executive Committee Chairman. And I am also calling for the 3 candidates, Mr. Kelly, Ms. Ford, and Mr. Deering, to please remove yourself from the voting list, remove yourself from candidacy, so that we can actually have a fair and unbiased voting season, as guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States. So that is all I have. Are there any questions?
Why is the FBI involved? Where's their standing in this?
The FBI standing is because there is federal funds involved. All of the their funding, as it states on the bottom of their flyer, all funds are deposited in a federal depository, and that's where their funding comes from. So that does make it a federal law. Plus, it is voter fraud, which is a federal law. Any other questions?
Why do you believe these people would do that? Obviously, they've been in the political realm for a while. Wouldn't they know it's illegal? Why would they do this?
Well, you know, there's a lot of people that are in the political realm that do a lot of illegal things all the time. You know, I won't go into the laundry list if we can, because that makes this a partisan thing. But there have constantly been, you know, some candidates can't even keep their financial reports straight. They're always having to make addendums. They never correct them. Some candidates don't withdraw from races and don't, you know, actually take their name off the ballot. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on. And the laws aren't that hard. I mean, this is my second campaign. I don't have a problem following the law.
Sir, I've been to the FBI.
Yes.
Several times.
Yes.
And I know of no law, no statute that applies to them with elections. Do you? Just because it's a federal bank doesn't mean it involves the FBI, does it? And isn't this a low-level felony?
Is there a question mark in this?
I'm asking you a series of questions.
Okay. One question is, it's up to the Federal Bureau of Investigation to determine if they wish to investigate it any further. I've given them all the information. They have taken this information. They said, I will look into it.
Why today, on the eve of Rubio and Trump's visits to Daytona?
Because this came to light on a Friday afternoon and a Saturday, and I had to confer with my own personal attorney.
And one more question, please, unless I'm keeping anybody else. Where is your evidence that Paul Deering, Dana Dougherty, and Ed Kelly conspired in this? Because their names are highlighted in a magic marker?
No, Dana Dougherty is not highlighted in a marker.
I mean, Marilyn Ford, excuse me.
It's like this. I am a candidate for an office.
Okay.
I know what every person that is on my team is doing. That's my job as the leader of that candidacy. If they don't know what their people are doing, then they're not much of a leader.
You're also the county chair, an elected official.
That is true, and I am...
You're also the highest and the lead... Hold on. You're also the lead elected official in Volusia County.
Exactly.
You're bringing charges. You're accusing 3 people of conspiring in a felony crime. Where's your evidence that these 3 conspired just because their name is highlighted by a magic marker?
I've already answered that question.
You said you brought a complaint. Where's your evidence?
They have the evidence.
Are you going to provide it to us?
They have their evidence. It is up to the investigation. Once again, I'll re-answer the question the same way. It has been given to the FBI and the state attorney with the allegation. And if the FBI and the state attorney continue their investigation, it is up to them to determine if all 3 conspired. There's people that have to be interviewed. It is a process, and they have to go through the process.
And I also noticed there are several prominent Republican operatives here, including Mr. Jim Oddie, who was on Facebook the other day saying that he overheard Tony Ledbetter doing these evil deeds. Is that your evidence?
That would be up to the state attorney and the FBI to find. If they want to interview Mr. Oddie, they're more than welcome to interview him. I do not run the FBI. Any other questions?
The 3 people that you want removed, are they in direct competition with you?
No, only one is in competition with me, but that's not the reason why I've asked for them to remove themselves from the ballot. It's because there have been a lot of conversations and everything on Facebook stating that anybody that's on this list that is the anointed one, as they like to call it on Facebook, don't vote for them.
2012.
And I'm just trying to save everybody the problem.
It's like a good old boy network, you think, that got going on?
That would be for the public, for the private citizens to decide.
County Chairman Davis, were you highlighted in 2012
No.
in a Republican voter guide?
No, I was not.
Are you sure?
Yep. I was the only Republican running.
As a candidate?
I was the only Republican running.
Were you highlighted in magic marker?
No, because I was the only Republican running.
But you were on the voter
I
guide.
was on the voter guide, just as I am now. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much, everybody, for coming out. Appreciate it.
There's really nothing